UFC 252, Cormier versus Miocic 3, the Trilogy. The fight we've been waiting for, long waiting for. We knew there was going to be 3. There had to be when it was 1-1 when they were fighting each other. So it's here. It's this weekend. I'm excited for it. Could be possibly Cormier's last fight. And even Stipe too. You never know. It is a decent card all around. For a pay-per-view card, I don't think it's the best. But it's still a good card. Lots of good fights. Obviously excited to see Sugar Show back. And he gets a co-main event, guys. His name, he's huge. He's just very popular at right now. So he's getting that co-main event. I think his talent is up there as well for the co-main event. But, now he's fighting his toughest competition yet. So definitely going to be interesting to watch that. We got back on track last week, guys. 2-0 on best bets. We also hit the parlay, 2-fight parlay, which I usually give out. We hit some outcome plays as well. Just to let you guys know, obviously outcome plays aren't going to be a part of my best bets unless I state otherwise. But they will count on my unit total. So you can see the updated record here. 36-14. That's for best bets, official plays, return on investment, 72%, guys. 72%. We stay above 70%, which is always the goal. All plays plus 35.6 units, guys. That's parlays, best bets, outcomes, value bets, all together, right? Not just the best bet record. First time this week, I actually watched other similar videos to mine. There's obviously some other cappers or UFC guys that they know their stuff, but I haven't noticed any records. They don't keep their records. They give out plays or they give out long cards, but there's no record. So that's interesting. Obviously, always a reason why people don't keep their records. With here, I'm keeping my record. I'm authentic. My plays are posted on all my videos. So if you have any questions, feel free to go look at the videos or whatnot. But I keep my records. I keep my unit plays for you guys to show. And yeah, I thought that was interesting. I don't really watch other videos and other capping videos. I do watch guys that break down fights and don't give out plays. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I watch about 3 or 4 different videos. They come up on my YouTube feed, and not one capper gave a record out. So that was interesting to see. Let's get right into it, guys. Main event. Let's get into the main event. I'm going to go over a handful of fights here, ones that I like, leans, and I'll give out plays where I think is suitable. Main event, Cormier minus 125 versus Stipe. You can get him at plus 100. It is a very tough fight to call, right? I'm not going to argue if you say Cormier or the other person says Stipe. Both guys can win, right? They both have a KO against each other. This is their third fight. They know each other well. One thing I do like in this fight is not to go 5. I don't see it going 5 rounds. Obviously, both their 2 fights didn't, and I just don't see it. And the line will tell you that it's minus 200, right? I won't have any personal straight up play on the minus 200. May throw it in a 2-fight parlay, but yeah, straight up, I wouldn't risk that. Stipe, you're getting in at plus 187 KO, and Cormier plus 175 KO. So that's where I think the value is on the fight, right? Both fighters first fights were striking battles, right, for the most part. Now, I think Cormier will want to wrestle here, but will he is the big question. Will he just want to, stand and bang with Stipe like the first 2 fights? I don't know. It's hard to wrestle in a 5-round fight for the whole fight, especially at Cormier's age of 42. And we know Stipe will want to stand and box, fight in the pocket, make it an ugly fight. So it'll be interesting to see how the fight plays out and if Cormier goes for the wrestling, right, and goes for the takedowns. Most likely, like I said earlier, this is probably Cormier's last fight. If he does pull this one off, I think he's the greatest heavyweight fighter in the UFC history. And if he still doesn't, I think he's still up there, top 3, top 5. So I think it's going to be interesting. And same with Stipe, right? You can say the same thing for him as well. Um, now with Cormier, there are some questions. He has a lot going on, right? Third child on the way, his podcast, he's hosting, he's obviously a broadcaster, he's doing his shows, he has a new job with ESPN and UFC Fight 4, the fighting game. He has a job with them as well, so he's busy, he's staying active. How will that factor in here? That's a big question. I do think it does, it doesn't help him. So I think the value here is with Stipe at plus 100. However, like I said, this can go both ways, but I will be on Stipe at plus 100 due to the value, and I do think he does get this fight. He does keep this fight standing and does get the win here. If you want to look at some value, the outcome, right? Plus 187 to KO, right? So outcome plus 187 KO, just because I don't see it going 5. So if it doesn't go 5, what will he do? He should be able to knock out Cormier. Again, Stipe win plus 100. I'll have that as an official best bet. And then outcome plus 187. Yes, I'm taking a chance here because like I did say, it could go both ways. But that's what I'm going to be on here for you guys. And take a look at the outcome as well. Co-main event, OMalley minus 300 versus Vera plus 240. Well, we know where the value is on this fight, right? It's on Vera plus 240. However, I just can't be on him just because all the Sugar Show hype and how good he has looked. Now, I'm not going to bet this fight at minus 300. It is very tough to decide on an outcome here as well, trying to look for value. It's tough, right? Sugar looks for KOs. He looks to get the fight done and finished in the first round. However, I think it may be different here with Vera. He's never been finished, right? This is a step up for Sugar. I don't think he can just KO, Vera easily like the others. There is some concern how Vera starts slow, and maybe he can put that pressure and can knock him out. But the line tells you they don't even know what's going to happen in this fight, obviously, besides who's going to win it, right? If you look at KO, it's plus 150. If you look at decision, it's plus 150. So it's tough to get involved when lines are like that, right? It's pretty much a guess. When it's lines like that, I don't like to throw guesses. But yeah, if you look at Vieira's fights, losses are decisions, right? He hasn't been knocked out. He has a good chin. I see him taking big shots in this. I've seen him take big shots in other fights, and he takes it. It's a very tough fight to call, especially on the outcome. Yes, I do think OMalley gets the job done. Just at minus 300, I'm going to have no involvement in that. Sugar says he'll finish him in round 1 in a lot of his interviews. I don't see it, but I love the confidence, and it could happen. We haven't seen Vieira fight guys like this and with this hype and with this knockout power. So, yes, I could also see, Sugar picking him apart for 3 rounds, winning on the exchanges and getting the 3-round victory. But then I can also see Vieira taking him to the ground and grappling against the cage, where I think he does have the advantage. Will he do that, or will he want to strike with OMalley? Right? Is he going to be cocky and want to strike with him the whole fight? He can stand, but Vieira has the black belt in jiu-jitsu. Why not use it? I'm not saying he's the best wrestler around, but he can take him to the ground. He can hold him against a cage and kind of, do some dirty boxing. And then if it gets to the ground, he does have that black belt. We haven't seen OMalley on the ground. I'd love to see him on the ground. Love to see how it works out. So, it's just one of those fights that it's tough to get involved in. If you're going to put OMalley in a parlay at minus 300, sure, do it. You know what I say about parlays. I limit them to 2-fight parlays. So if you want to throw them in one, that's what I would suggest. I maybe lean KO, but it's not something I'm going to get involved in or put money down on. So like I said, I may have OMalley in a parlay to win the fight, but there's just no value there. It's going to be a fight more that I'm going to enjoy and see how OMalley, see how he does against tougher competition. Personally, I do think he's a top 10 guy. Vera, he got robbed against Song Yadong, and I did think he won that fight. Let's get into the next fight here. Santos versus Rosenstrike. This is a tough one as well, guys. Rosenstrike minus 125, 130. Value came in at plus 135 when it opened on Santos. A lot of people jumped on that. Now I see it at plus 110. This is a fight I don't see going 3. So the side you're betting should be by finish personally. I don't have a play on the side. Both guys don't have the best chins, right? They've both been knocked out. We obviously know Santos in his last 2 fights, and then Rosenstrike against Ngannou. So I'll be if you're looking at it, play the KO. That's where you're going to get the value, right? Obviously some value on the Santos at plus 110. If you got a plus 130, even better. And I do see a lot of people on the Santos, a lot of public plays, a couple videos I've watched as well. People are on the Santos. I think Rosenstrike could get it done. If he does get it done, I think it would be in the early rounds. And I do think Dos Santos could use his wrestling here and could grapple with him. That's how I think he wins this fight. If he just stands and bangs and tries to have a kickboxing fight, Rosenstrike wins this fight. But if Dos Santos, decides to use his veteran experience and grapple, make it ugly, put him against a cage, try to wrestle with him, I think Dos Santos could win this fight. I would maybe lean the over 1.5 rounds. I know a lot of people are going to be on under 1.5, but I'm thinking maybe because they know each other fairly well, right? They both fight in the same gym. I'm sure they've fought before as training partners, right? They must have. So I think they know each other well. Dos Santos is not going to just want to stand and bang with Rosenstrike. I think he's smarter than that, right? So I think it could get pushed past the 1.5 rounds. I don't love it, but I am leaning the 1.5 rounds on this fight. But I won't be involved in an investment standpoint on this one. Next fight, let's get to Dodson versus Mira. Mira minus 225. High price for Mira. Decision 138. You can get him out on the outcome. I'm going to be on Mirab here, but I'm not laying the minus 225. It's just a bad price against a very dangerous Dodson. So I'll be on the decision here, minus 138, because that's how Mirab wins. He wins by decisions. I just see Mirab just controlling him on the ground, with a bunch of takedowns, with a solid wrestling, and avoids Dodson's striking battle. Dodson will look for the finish. He'll want to strike, but I think Mirab will be able to avoid that with takedowns and his pressure. Mira's cardio and pressure should be able to get him to win on points here. Dodson can be taken down. If you look at other fights, I've been watching tape on him a lot this week. He gets taken down by guys that are known for taking you down, right? So that's where I think Mirab has the advantage. Dodson at plus 190 is definitely value, right? And if you guys are sprinkling some money on the plus 190, I don't blame you. I just think it's maybe a bad matchup. He's going to have to catch him on the feet, right? And he's going to have to knock him out. Right? I don't see him winning a decision fight with Mirab. So yeah, we're going to be on Mirab here. If you want to put him in a parlay at minus 225, feel free. But I'm going to take him decision minus 138. You're still not getting any value, but that's what the books are saying is going to happen as well. And I do agree here with the line. So a decision minus 138 for Mirab due to his wrestling and grappling advantage. Let's get into some prelim fights here, guys. Prelim fights. I'm going to give you first a prelim fight that I like. It is the featured prelim fight, Miller versus Piquel. So we're going to go over that fight, and I'll leave you guys with a prelim 2-fight parlay. So interesting feature prelim here. Miller, who will look to finish, he'll look to finish this early, right? He'll look to finish it early so he doesn't have to go 2-3 rounds. If Piquet avoids the first round surge from Miller, I think he should win this fight. So if Miller can, pull off a crazy submission like he did against Roosevelt Roberts last, which I was on Roberts and I do regret that a lot. You know, maybe he can pull off the win. I think if it goes, you know, 2-3 rounds, then I think Piquel wins it. And you can also see the line -1.5. It should go over that 1.5. I personally think, but you don't want to lay that amount. I think it's -200 last time I looked, so that is high. So they also think it may go a few rounds here. Now, outcome is tough. You know, decision or finish. I would lean the decision for Piquel, but you get that at -120. You can get that at plus money, but the -125 is not a big price, right? It's not a big price. I don't mind laying the -125 on him to win. So we'll be on that and, you know, avoiding any outcome picks here. I just don't see Miller pulling off that first round sub like against Roosevelt Roberts. Now, it's an interesting thing. They both fought Roosevelt Roberts, their last fights, right? That's pretty interesting. And they both have wins over him, so that, you know, it's odd that that does happen, but that's what's happening here. Now, Piquel doesn't fight often, right? Usually like once a year, but yeah, he's been winning some fights. I do like what I see from him. I think he's 12-2. He will be the bigger guy here, and I think he'll just come forward to try to win this fight. He can take him down if he needs to. I think the boxing, you may lean Miller a little bit, more cleaner boxing, but Piquel, he'll come forward. He's not scared to come forward. I think that pressure and his takedown ability will be able to win him the fight. Possibly maybe in a decision, but I'll just be on the -125 here. All right, guys, I'll leave you guys with a 2-fight parlay like I usually do. We hit it last week. May have some action on them as well on a straight, but since the numbers are quite high, I'll be on them in a parlay here. It's going to be the Prelims Brazilian 2-fight parlay, +120. Brazilian parlay, guys. This is the first time I've done this. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. Souza, the Brazilian gangster, -163 over Ashley Yoder. Yoder just hasn't looked that great in the UFC. 2-4. She's fighting a tough Souza coming off a loss to Van Buren, who looked great. Van Buren's obviously the better striker, but that's what she's known for. She's a great striker, one of the best strikers in the division. However, with Ashley, you don't have to worry about that. She's not a great striker. She's a grappler where Souza can hold her own in that department. And I think Souza's the better striker and wrestler in this fight. I'll be on Souza here in my 2-fight parlay, -175. Lean this decision +125 as well. However, I lean the decision because I could see maybe Souza finishing the fight. But yeah, +125 decision is a lean. Herbert Burns is going to be the other parlay, Brazilian parlay opponent here against Pineda. Pineda, who is back from a long layoff, got suspended over in his previous fight card for steroids. I don't know why UFC brought him back, to be honest, but he is back. He's been winning a bit on the smaller cards, but then he was test spotted for steroids, so it's very interesting. You know, he has a lot of fights. He's an experienced fighter. However, I think Burns is just on too much of a roll. I think he's the better guy all around. I don't love the price, obviously. It's way too high. That's why I throw it in a parlay. Right? I would never straight bet this, even with the KO finish or sub finish, -175. No value in that. So I'm going to throw it in a parlay. I'm going to take Burns. I know Pineda does have a chin, so it would be Burns by a submission. Those numbers aren't out yet, but I will look at just a submission. So look out for that, guys. You'll get better value than 175. If Burns wins, I think it is by submission. But I'm going to play it safe here. Put him in a parlay just to win, -275. You're going to get this parlay at +120. All right, guys, another UFC pay-per-view card. Excited for this one. We got the Trilogy. We got Sugar Sean back. Should be fun. Please like, subscribe, share this video. It helps me out a lot. Comment as well. Continue to put out these free plays for you guys, these videos. Hope you enjoy them. And like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Take care.